You know, I've often been on record as we kind of wrap up the Kyle case on this channel. There will be maybe some suits worth covering, but I think people like Nick Rekieta will do a better job covering that. But I've long said companies should keep their mouth shut about politics. Yes, you can play it correctly and pander to one side of the aisle. But as Michael Jordan famously said, Republicans buy sneakers too, something along those lines. It wasn't that long ago that a certain coffee company used the New York Times to say horrible things about Kyle. And now that Kyle has been vindicated, I think it's time that they acknowledge that they were incorrect and that they issue an apology. I think that's a very reasonable thing to expect. Now, I would tell them that directly, but they blocked me on social media for criticizing them in the past. You know, a company that doesn't get political? Blue Blocks. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Blue Blocks. Look, I spend from the minute I wake up in the morning to the minute I go to bed at night staring at various screens, whether it's my cell phone, my monitors, my TV for playing video games, whatever the case may be. And sometimes I definitely feel that eye strain that people talk about. And now Blue Blocks has 3 different types of glasses to treat 3 different types of strain. First, the blue light computer glasses. They're clear lenses. They target headaches, sore eyes, digital eye strain, watery eyes. Summer Glow mood boosting glasses that go after migraines, stress, anxiety, and low mood. Sleep Plus blue blocking glasses have amber lenses. These target poor sleep, fatigue, and low energy. And Blue Box in some cases may be a little more expensive than other brands, but after working with them for so long and experiencing how much they love their product, it's absolutely worth it. Blue Box also has other amazing products like low blue light bulbs, red light therapy devices, and 100% blackout sleep masks, which I use every night. Blue Box currently has their Black Friday sale campaign running, which is great news for all of you, as you can save 25% off all products until the 30th of November. Go to blueblocks.com to save 25% today. That's BLUBLOX.com and get the 25% discount code is automatically applied at checkout. Now, there was a original piece in the New York Times, and by the way, I've got something from the New York Times too. I hope he sues them into oblivion. The coffee company decided, veteran run, veteran owned, Black Rifle Coffee. We're the Chad Coffee. They were happy to run on that. This is what they had to say at the time. You can't let sections of your customers hijack your brand and say, this is who you are. Best told me. It's like, no, we define that. The Kyle episode may have cost the company thousands of customers, but Hafer believed it also allowed the company to draw a line in the sand. It's such a repugnant group of people, Hafer said. It's like the worst of American society. And I got to flush the toilet of some of those people. That kind of hijacked portions of the brand. What was all this about? What was all this anger about? The fact that Kyle was pictured wearing a t-shirt from his brand. Kyle didn't say that he was sponsored by them or that they had, given him money. It was just pictured wearing a t-shirt. And they had to run out and disparage him. Then again, what he insisted was a super clear delineation was not too clear to everyone, as somebody's choice of headgear vividly demonstrated. All this was a smiling kid wearing a coffee company t-shirt. That on top of this interesting little news article. This from Mark Hemingway. He is a senior writer at Real Clear Investigations. Probably worth a follow, huh? This anecdote from Nellie Bowles about how the New York Times wouldn't publish her story on the damage done in Kenosha riots until after the election. until after the election. These people are not your friends. If you're paying for the New York Times, then all you're doing is paying for political opinions that you presumably agree with. Because in my opinion, the New York Times is not a news outlet. A note in the light of the Kyle trial. Until quite recently, the mainstream liberal argument was that burning down businesses for racial justice was both good and healthy. Burning allows for the expression of righteous rage, and that businesses all had insurance to rebuild. When I was at the New York Times, I went to Kenosha to see about this, and it turned out not to be true. The part of Kenosha that burned in the riots was poor, multiracial, and commercial, full of small, underinsured cell phone shops and car lots. It was very sad to see and hear from people who had suffered beyond the financial loss. Small storefronts are quite meaningful to their owners and communities, which continuously baffles the Zoom class. I assume they mean Zoomers. Most people are so disloyal to their communities nowadays due to like the Amazonification of everything, the way that people respond. They don't care. They don't see the face of anyone ever who they're buying their product from, so they don't care. Well, I live in a small town. I choose to shop in my small town whenever possible. I bought my snowblower from the small engine shop here. Yeah, it was $200 more than maybe a big box store, $100 more. But every time I need to get it serviced, I know the guy, Jim, comes to my house, puts it on a trailer, takes care of me. I bought my lawnmower from my small town. Now, not everyone has that available. I understand that completely. But when possible, I try to support my small town businesses. I eat at the restaurants in my small town all the time. Is there better food 15 minutes away? Sometimes, but I'd rather support the businesses that keep this city alive. This was especially true during the lockdowns. Something odd happened with the story after I filed it. It didn't run. It sat and sat. Now, it could be that piece was just bad. I've sent in bad ones before, and I'll do it again. A few weeks after I filed, an editor told me the Times wouldn't be able to run my Kenosha insurance debacle piece until after the election. So sorry. Why didn't they want to run it until after the election? Because it flies in the face of their narrative that, all these they were just wealthy business owners, they were totally fine. There were a variety of reasons given, space, timing, tweaks here and there. Eventually, the election was passed. Biden was in the White House, and my Kenosha story ran. Whatever the reason for holding the piece, covering the suffering after the riots was not a priority. The reality that brought Kyle into the streets was one we reporters were meant to ignore. The man who tried to put out a blaze at Kenosha had his jaw broken. The top editor of a Philadelphia Inquirer had to resign in June 2020 amid staff outcry for publishing a piece called Buildings Matter Too. If you lived in these neighborhoods on fire, you were supposed to get an extinguisher. The proper response, the only acceptable response, was to see the brick and mortar torn down, to watch the fires burn and say thank you. I know for a fact many of these businesses were not covered by insurance because we together worked to rebuild Gravity Gaming Lounge. They didn't have enough insurance to fix all that. Most businesses are wildly underinsured if they have any insurance at all. Sure, the same people say it doesn't hurt anybody when you allow shoplifting from stores, as if it doesn't increase pricing across the board. But the same people who have never probably gone hungry in their life, who have never had to live paycheck to paycheck, were on Twitter saying to let Kenosha burn. And they were saying it again this time after the trial. Now, I don't suspect any bad behavior in Kenosha for two main reasons. One, most of these clowns are wimps and they couldn't handle the cold weather this time of year. It's not in the middle of summer. It's not that cold for me out there. It's in the 30s, but it's cold enough to reconsider. Second of all, like they should have had in the first place, there are 500 National Guard in the city that will likely not be permitting it to burn again. Again, something they should have done in the first place. I respectfully ask that this coffee company take some time to reconsider their statements on Kyle and the people that supported him There were a lot of people that supported him from the start, and he was vindicated today in court. I don't expect the New York Times to do the same because they're long past worth saving. But I certainly hope he sues them into oblivion. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.